Buddy, buddy, don't you pass me, buddy. And now it's me.
Hi, Todd.
Welcome to Totality.
I can't. This isn't working.
It looks. What is that? Did you make that yourself?
This is the homemade version.
It looks like a Reese's box.
It is a Reese's box.
That is awesome. Did you get blinded today?
Actually, I didn't even use that. I was at work.
Oh, did you guys have glasses?
I did not have glasses. I had my cellular telephone.
Oh, what?
Used the selfie mode in the cellular telephone. You can, yes. I can't really see very well right now, but
but did you enjoy Totality? Oh, you didn't get Totality.
We don't even get Totality up here. We got at the time we were going to get our best view of the thing. We had cloud cover, so I got a decent shot of it. Probably about a half hour prior to that time. Okay. And it just happened to, for whatever reason. So I had the phone out. I got a selfie. Sun's behind me. Mm-hmm. And I hit the take the picture button. And when I do that, just out of randomness of how things work, I had the right here on on the middle of my forehead was a reflection of the partial eclipse.
You were branded by the eclipse.
I was chosen by the eclipse.
Can I tell you? Okay.
Hold on. Before we start, so this is actually going to be a live show for us right now, but I'm going to record this and put it into a podcast form.
Oh, cool.
So I'm going to say that this is the Short Attention Gamer Show 130. I'm your host, Jim Hunter, and with me is Todd Fuller. Hey, Todd.
Hi, buddy. Hey. Did you like how I act surprised how you're going to do the show? Oh, neat. We're good. That's what we're going to do. Cool. Whatever you say.
And I got my Santa shirt on.
I love it.
Because I don't know, I had it. I was going to wear it.
Almost Christmas in 5 short months or so. Can I tell you? I mean, before we think about that, can I tell you about Totality? So I was
tell me.
Whatever. This is not going to be, whatever. The sun will be blotted out for a few minutes. Whoop-de-doo. So around 1:13, well, about 1:10, things started to get dark. Oh, things were getting darker, and it was obvious. And about 1:12, the lights started to come on where I work, and the street lights started to come on, and night birds started to fly, and the cicadas started to do their thing. And I thought, okay, this is freaky.
Then the bats came. The vampires started showing up.
Yeah. And so I had my glasses in my hand, and I had been looking up as it was getting closer and closer. And at 1:13 was Totality. Well, if you put your glasses on at Totality, it's pitch black. You can't see anything. So you take them off, and you can just stare for a few brief moments. You can stare at the sun.
I thought at Totality you got the glow around.
Yes,
the moon.
Yeah. So you take your glasses off because you can't see anything because it's so dark, and you see the glow around the moon. And everything is dark, like it's right. It's almost, it's not like it's like evening like it is right now. It's like eerie. It's like
the sun has left
the building. Yes, it's exactly like that. So it was more fascinating than I thought it would be.
We just got basically like all right, so here's the sun.
Yes, I love this already.
We got like, oh wait, I need something else. Like that.
I love it.
That's about what I saw.
I saw this.
Just a cookie nibble.
I saw that.
I don't see you.
Yeah. That's what I saw.
Pretty scary.
Yeah, I know. That's what I thought. It freaked me out a little bit. I was not ready for it. So, you and I talked last week about doing the show and that we would be doing the show on Eclipse Day, and it was more entertaining than I thought it would be.
The show is, of course, always.
Both, yes. I mean, I knew that would be entertaining. But yeah, the Eclipse, of course, that surprised me as well. So here we are. What has it been, like a year since we?
I I was curious as to see how long it was, and it's been 2 months, a little bit of more than 2 months
Okay.
since we did a show. And you know, it's summertime, right? We both have things to do, and honestly, just kind of slipped my mind. It was going to be an every month thing, but now that school's
Well,
starting again, I think maybe I'll have more. I haven't really had time to play games, to be honest with you. And I think I
great.
told you. I think I
So
told you that. So, and then Matt chimed in, and he was like, "Hey, it sounds familiar, huh?"
yeah, yeah, and I mean, so I did, but my kids are much older than yours. So there's and I think you'll agree with this. You have this period where they're younger and they take naps, and there's like stretches of 1 to 2 hours where
In the middle of
you
the
can't
day.
leave the house.
In the middle of the
Yeah,
day.
you
Yeah.
can't leave the house. So what are you going to do? You play games. Then they get older. Then they have activities. Then you're driving them places and taking them places and entertaining them and engaging with them and having fun and that sort of thing. And then they get older and they don't want to do that with you anymore. So that's where I am. They're out. I don't know what they're doing out there, smoking, selling drugs. Isn't that what kids do these days?
Yes.
No, they're
Opiates.
exactly. No, they're busy doing their thing. And so, like once in a while, once in a great while, you get to do something with your kids, which happened right before the show, believe it or not. I was sitting downstairs and my daughter comes down. She goes, I want to play a game. And I was like, okay, what game?
What are we doing?
Pulling games out. I'm getting ready for it. And so I said, let's try Overcooked. And my son is like, because he and I played a lot, and he's like, this is not going to go well. Let's try it. So I can only.
What is Overcooked? Is it good?
Okay. Yes, Overcooked is an awesome multiplayer game. It's on PS4 and it's going to be on Nintendo. It's actually on Nintendo Switch now too.
Okay.
And I think it would be the perfect Nintendo multiplayer game. So you have 1 to 4. Well, 1 is irrelevant. You have 2 to 4 players, and you are making meals. So it starts out easy with onion soup. You have one person, and you have to figure out how you're going to do it. So you have one that you might have chopping the onions, another one putting the onions in the pot to cook, and then one taking the pot off and putting it in the bowl to serve to the customers. That's easy enough. But then things get crazy, and before you know it, you're making hamburgers, but you're making them on, for instance, a truck, and then every once in a while the truck will split apart. And on one end, one side of the truck, one side of the truck is somebody who's making the hamburgers and the lettuce and the tomatoes, and on the other side of the truck is the person cooking, and you got to wait till the truck gets back together to bring all those ingredients over to finish the hamburgers, to serve them. It is a crazy fun multiplayer game, and everybody picked up on it, and we sucked, but we had a good time. My daughter enjoyed it, so that says something right there.
Yeah, I haven't been playing, and I played a board game. Played board games with my kids lately, but no video games. I don't know. The games that we have, I mean, we've got like Skylanders, but Skylanders is annoying because there's 3 kids and 2 people can play at a time. So they always end up, and the third one is always like, oh, let me put this Skylander on. And we're like, no, I don't want that Skylander on, but I want that Skylander on. And it just begins a big argument about which Skylanders are actually in the game.
Well, the fights never end. I'll tell you that right now. But they become different kinds of fights. And now the fights are about strategy, which actually is entertaining. And we may disagree on the strategy, but and when you're playing a game like this, you start, before you even start, we're all sitting there. Okay, you cook, you cut the tomatoes and the lettuce and the hamburgers. You are in charge of cooking the hamburgers and cleaning the plates, because you also have to clean plates. And so we'll start out that way, and then sometimes things just go sideways before you know it. But you start with a strategy at least.
And it's all timed and stuff. Yeah. You have to keep it going. You can't just hire like somebody to do your dishes for you. You have to.
No. And the recipes will go off the screen. Like one may be just a burger and a bun. The next one may be a burger and tomato and bun. And so, your recipes will go off the screen and you're out of luck. You don't get that tip. So it's a lot of fun. You have a Switch, right?
I do have a Switch.
It is a good multiplayer game, even for younger families, because there are really only a few controls. You chop, there's a chop button. There is a plate button where you put things on the plate, and then you move with the left thumbstick, and that's about it.
How do you add things to the? Oh, so is there like one plate and then like if I'm chopping onions,
You'll
you're
have like
making.
three plates. You'll have a bunch of recipes, and you can put different things on the plates. Like you'll put the bun on one plate, and then the onion or the hamburger, and then the lettuce, and then on another plate you may be getting it ready that has just hamburger and tomato. And so then once you serve those, then you have plates that come back that are dirty. So somebody needs to be cleaning those too.
It sounds. I don't know, Todd. This sounds like actually like what I do at home when I'm
It is.
making dinner.
It is, but you get to be an animal. You can be a raccoon and do it. Can you do that
Oh
now?
no,
I
I
don't think
can't. I can't
so.
be a raccoon. We have coyotes
Yeah,
around,
so
but no. Yeah, no.
exactly. So you can be a raccoon. You can be a guy with glasses and a big nose. You can be all kinds of different people. Yeah.
I
You can
used
be
to
a
have.
lady with glasses and a big nose.
I. That sounds good.
Yeah.
I'd like to
So
be a lady with glasses and a big nose.
for 19.99, you can do it. The world is your oyster or your
Wait, was that?
hamburger.
That wasn't on PS Plus, was it? By any chance? No.
No, I don't think so. I ended up buying it. It came out, and the overcooked version on Switch, which is 19.99, has, I think it's 19.99. It has the all of the different expansions. It had like a Christmas one, which is that one actually kind of sucks. That one's hard.
Figgy pudding.
Yeah, yeah. It's recipes like that that you're like, nobody eats this, but we'll try.
We can
And those,
make a fruit cake.
yeah, sliding around on ice, fun stuff like that. Overcooked. Buy in stores or buy online today.
Buy
I don't
in
think you can buy
stores
it.
today. Look for the link in the description below. No, we don't.
Yeah,
I'm not going to do
there you go.
that.
It's fun. It's a good game.
I actually did play a game though. I knew we were going to do the
Really?
show, and I played two games. But one of them I
Okay.
actually want to talk about a little bit more than the other one, and that is this game called Lawbreakers, which
Okay, I'll talk about it
you've played it
a little bit.
a little bit. Uh-oh.
Yeah,
The,
no, no.
the tone in your voice. I'm not
You
liking.
you talk about it first. I'll chime in later.
Oh, are we gonna have dissenting opinions on this one?
No, I don't think. I mean, you've played more than I have. I bet. So
I
I don't
I,
think we'll have the same opinions.
I put in about 2.5 hours.
Yeah, I
And
played maybe an hour.
at first I basically went into it and I said, "Hey, this is a lot like Overwatch. You have and unfortunately, I think the comparison is apt. They could have done a little bit more in terms of the everything surrounding the game itself. Like you basically go in and you pick your guy of one of I don't know, it's like 9 or 10 classes or something like that.
Mhm.
Each of them has their own abilities. You know, Q does one thing, E does one thing. You know, reload and left shift does stuff. And then you go in and play the game, and then after the game you get experience points and earn levels, and after each level you get a loot box, and you open the loot box and you get skins for things. And you know, so it's very much the same loop in terms of what a lot of these
Mhm.
games are doing lately. Which I mean it works, but because this isn't the first one to do it, it kind of feels like, I don't know, a little bit lazy in that regard. Um, and I haven't really seen any of the stuff come out of the loot boxes that are like, wow, that's cool. Even the stuff that's like, hey, I've got a boss item that's like one of the higher level skins or whatever that you can get. I'm like, it looks okay. Nothing super fancy.
It's $30, right?
It is $30, and I think this is one of my issues with the game is that it originally was going to be a free to play game, and I'm playing it on the PC, and right now the games will form and form rather quickly, but often people will drop and you won't have full teams on both sides. Which, when you're doing a lot of objective based things, having even one person down really causes an imbalance in the game. Unless you have some really, really good players on your team that can make up for that lack of person. But I mean, even if you don't have I don't know. It's annoying to say the least. So I went on Steam Spy to see like how many people had bought the game on Steam, and the number was really low. It was like 60,000 or something like that.
Really? Okay, I would have thought it'd be higher than that.
Since it released, and the concurrent users, it was something like 1,200 at a time.
Oh my gosh.
Which like I know Steam Spy isn't 100% accurate, but it's a good indication of how a game is doing. And then I said, all right, so this is $30, and it's got some chops for the developer behind it too. I mean, it's a new game from Boss Key Studios, but it's Cliff Bleszinski, right? It's Gears of War. He knows what he's doing. So you would think that people would have been into it, but because it's not free to play, I don't think anybody's buying it on PC. You look at something like Paladins, which is a direct ripoff of Overwatch. And that game, it has, it's a free to play game. So the owned count, you really can't go to, there's like 12 million people who have downloaded that game.
Oh, wow.
And then there's like 60,000 playing it all the time. So if they had gone free to play, I think more people would be way more into the game than they are, because it's when you're playing the game, it's actually quite a bit of fun. I'm enjoying it way more than I thought I'd be. Like, I'm not generally into twitchy shooters, but I've found that some of the characters, it's really fun to just zoom around the levels. Like even the medic, her left shift ability is basically just to start flying forward. And so you can just, and it's faster than just, it's effectively a sprint, but you're flying at the same time. Or if you jump, you can hold down the jump button and just zoom up into the air. And then you go into these zero gravity areas where you can do like this dance of chaos, where it really takes some getting used to in terms of how to maneuver in that space. Because each character has different abilities that they can, fly through that area. Some have like guns that they shoot behind them that they can propel themselves forward. Others, like the Harrier, just has rockets on their shoes at all times, so they can just fly around and do crazy fast moves. But I like the game modes. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I just wish there's more people playing it. I think the $30, I think they really screw themselves by giving it by charging $30 for it.
Yeah. Because it came out, there were some other games that came out about the same time that were not as expensive. And so the thing that I played some of the beta, and the one thing that was frustrating to me is at times it seemed like the camera, so it's the camera would pull away, and I was getting shot from, it seemed like across the map from these tiny little icons of characters. And it was frustrating because I couldn't even figure out where they were. And I know that happens a lot in shooters, but in this one, it seemed like it was happening. And the maps they're on levels, because you get into that kind of their thing is you like a no gravity type thing, right?
Right.
You're kind of floating around, and so I would get really high up in the air and trying to get to another part of the map, and I was getting shot, and I couldn't figure out, I couldn't slow myself down enough to figure out where I was getting shot from.
Yeah, I think that whole aspect of things really takes a lot of getting used to. Luckily in the tutorial section, they will allow you to play on maps and just like screw around with nothing there. But another kind of weakness also is the tutorial section. Like, they'll allow you to do that, but to learn all the characters, they pop up a YouTube video, an actual YouTube video. So if you want to see what's in game, just go on YouTube and find out, like,
that's
the minute and a half clip of what each of the abilities do for these characters. And I kind of get that. Yeah, it's probably better to try this stuff out yourself, but you could have done it in a way that was in game. Like, all right, you want to learn more about the medic? Here's a guy who's getting hurt. Why don't you send a heal drone over to him and see what happens, or something? Because learning that stuff in game can, like, it's not a great thing to do. You're okay, I've got an ultimate, and I've got a description of what the ultimate does. So when I drop it, what's going to happen? I don't know exactly what's going to happen. And even
Hmm.
like third or fourth time, you got an idea of what's going to happen. But even the medic, she's got this bubble shield that goes up. I'm like, what does this actually do to enemies if they're around me? I'm not entirely sure. The description says it pushes them out, but I still see them walking through. I don't quite understand what, so there's some nuance in terms of how all the stuff works together.
Well, and from that perspective, I mean, then I probably haven't given it a fair shake. If there's a learning curve that I just didn't have time to kind of figure out, then maybe I need to give it some more time. But at $30, it's going to be a while before I do that, because there's so many other things coming out that I want to play,
Yeah,
and other things that I have been playing. So
that's one of the things is like, all right, so I've got it on PC. I know that the population on PS4 seems to be higher because even some people on Twitter are telling me that, like, oh, I've been playing on PS4, and it's I'd never have any problems with people coming in. And I was like, oh, maybe I could play with you on PS4. It's only $30. Maybe I'll pick it up. And then I'm like, oh, it's August 21st.
yeah,
In like a week and a half, Destiny 2 is going to be out, and that's probably all I'm going to be playing. So,
yeah.
so why
Well,
am
you're
I
right,
going to?
until about 4 or 5 other games come out. So you're right.
And then this week Uncharted? Is that coming out this week?
Yes,
Yeah.
tomorrow.
So
So
eventually I'll pick up that too. It's a bad. I don't know. I wish it was free to play because I think there is some good stuff in that game that
mhm.
people should play. It's fun. It's a good time, and I found myself wanting to play more when I was done with the matches. Every once in a while, I get frustrated simply because of the balance issues
Mhm.
with the teams not holding the player counts. Um, I don't know. I think it's a good game. It's just something it hit wrong.
Okay.
So
I may at some point, but I mean, it may be a while now, and the price will probably have to change. I have been playing some stuff. I've been playing a lot of stuff, as you can well imagine.
I bet
Um,
you haven't been sending
so
me many screenshots, though. I'm a little
well,
disappointed in
because
that.
I haven't been playing a lot of Final Fantasy 15. I did play. That's the only time I send you screenshots is when I've played some sweet Final Fantasy 15.
So that's coming to PC.
Oh, so you're going to send me screenshots?
No, you're gonna just play it again on PC and
Okay, fair
send me
enough.
more
To send
screenshots.
you sweet screenshots, I would consider it. Um, but there's more downloadable content coming, and when that comes, I will that. But that doesn't come until later in the fall, late fall, early winter. So I will play that one too. But that's so what I played that earlier about a month ago. The second down DLC came out, the second character, and that's when I was sending you screenshots from that. It wasn't long, but it was fun, and it wasn't expensive either. I think it was $5. So it was, for the time that I spent, an hour maybe, it was well worth it. I had fun with it.
Cool.
But a few other things. I finished this.
You finished it. I actually
I did.
started playing it a little bit more.
Now when I say finish, I beat Ganon.
You killed Ganon.
But yes, I'll tell you this. I've been playing this game, and I would say off and on, but I've been playing it almost every day since it came out, just a little bit at a time. I've never done that. You know me. I'll get through a
To
game
this
like that, and
to this day you've been doing it, or
yes, yes, since
wow,
since it came out in March. Yeah,
that's
and
impressive.
I know. Tell me about it. That's not how I play games. I'm surprised. So when that came out at the same time as Horizon Zero Dawn, and we've talked about it before. I got into Horizon faster and more than I did Zelda Breath of the Wild. But when I finished Horizon, I was still playing that off and on. I'd play during lunch at work sometimes. I'd play at home on weekends, and so I kept playing consistently. And got to the point where I think I played, when it's all said and done, about 60 hours of that game over the course of the last 5 months. Or yeah, almost 5 months, about 4.5 months. So that's not me. And so finally, Saturday, I beat Ganon. So I
Cool.
was pleasantly surprised. and enjoyed it. It's a good game. You know, I say beat, but there's a lot of game left there. There's a lot of side quests I haven't even done. I think there's a few places in the world I haven't even found or been to. So, but I enjoyed it and I had a good time.
I
And the
picked
other
it up a
game that
little.
I
Hold on, before we move on, I picked it on a little bit, and I started getting more into it. I actually restarted the game, because I had been away from it for long enough that I almost forgot everything about it. And then I got to a point where I still had 3 hearts. I hadn't gotten any more hearts to extend my longevity, and I'm like, oh, let me just start exploring out in this way. And then I found a shrine. I went to the shrine, and I'm like, I don't know where I am. I'm in the middle of nowhere on like the edge of the map, it seems like. And there's just like a dude who will hit me with one shot and kill me. So I'm not even sure if I'm supposed to be there. I should probably leave and come back. But
well, and yeah, I found a few places like that. And there's still places where I would go. I think I have 14 hearts. But there are still places I'd go and I'd one shot from some of the characters out there. I think I'd be down to 3. So yeah, it's still
really?
yeah,
Wow.
it's there. It would knock me down pretty quick. You just have to figure out how to fight them, and I don't know how. And that's part of those side quests. You know, that's what's so weird about this game is it's not like it's not an RPG like you would level up and have a strong character. You can get stronger armor and you can increase the strength of your armor, but you're not gaining levels, and so you're gaining hearts, which is kind of different. And so you find yourself in different parts of the game and playing against other characters, but you don't move from one easy part to a harder part. I mean, you can go to a hard part that's right next to an easy part of the map. So,
Which is, it seems like that's what I did.
yeah. Oh, I did it many times. I still did. I did it right before I finished the game. So I went to someone basically 2-shotted me and had to start over and thought, what is happening? I'm about as high a level as I can be.
And they're still kicking my butt.
I got to figure out how to fight them, and I just don't know how. A lot of the Guardians are really tough, and I struggle trying to figure out how best to beat them. So, but I played. For me, that's a lot of hours. 60. One of my cousins, I checked the other day. She's played, I want to say 150, 160 hours.
Oh my God.
It's amazing how much time people are putting into that game.
I think JJ was playing a ton of it too.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what kept me going. I would see our friends, your friends and my friends still playing the game. And I thought, and I didn't want to stop because I knew what happened to you would happen to me, that I would have trouble figuring out the mechanics again.
Yeah. Because some of the magical powers, like they can get real tricky in terms of what you can do with them and how to control them specifically. Like it took me forever to figure out how to, when you're like lifting something with the magnet, how to actually move it forward and back. With all I got to do was just lifting it up higher into the sky, and I'm like, what? How do I do this? I don't know what to do.
Well, and some of the guardian powers that you get later on in the game, I struggled. There's one that I rarely ever use just because I forgot I had it. And so, some of them I would use once. I think I may have used 3 times. So remembering what powers you have and what mechanics you have, I think is a challenge too. Because by the time you get all that together, you're about ready to just fight Ganon and get it over with.
Right.
But those powers could also help you with a lot of the side quests, which I still have yet to do. And I may do some of them before I lose my muscle memory for how that game plays. But a game that you don't need a lot of muscle memory for,
yep,
is this one.
Tell me. Oh, you're gonna you have show and tell. What do we got here?
I was afraid I'd forget which games I'd been playing if I didn't bring the actual games up here and show you. I'm not trying to be cool or anything.
So I don't know anything
Agents
about
of Mayhem.
that. I look at that and I say that looks like a Saints Row game.
It is a Saints Row game in many ways. Good. It's made by the same people, right?
I did not know that. No.
Yes, that's why it looks like a Saints Row game, made by Volition. It's you have 3 characters, and you gain more characters as you play, and so you can choose any 3 at one time. And you can pick, and you can pull them in or pull them out. You can increase their powers, you can level them up. You can switch between them on the fly, which is kind of fun. It's kind of interesting. And you use your D-pad to switch left and right between those 3 characters. The thing that's funny about it is I can shoot. The hitbox is very forgiving. And by very forgiving, I mean I can shoot north, south, east, or west, and I will kill something. Turn to the left, shoot my bow and arrow. I got whatever's over there is dead.
What if there's nothing over there? Is something still dead?
Then the arrow just flies, and I turn to the right, and I shoot again, and I hit whatever's over there. Sometimes it seems like the arrow flew around the world and hit the people on the right and the back, because it's not like you have a narrow window or place that you have to hit them. Just in the general vicinity of where they're standing, and they're dead. So I can get by with that. I can get down with that.
So I really have no idea what Agents of Mayhem is about. So you have 3 characters and you kill stuff.
I don't know. There's a story there. I'm not 100% sure what's going on in the story. There's a bad guy. You have an open world. You can drive around the world. If you are standing by your car as it pulls up and in the right place, you get into your car with a cool little animation. Like you fly in doing like this. Whatever, it looks cool. You have different powers for each character, and they're pretty unique, which is kind of fun. You will level up those powers. It's pretty simple how you use them. And the simplicity of it reminds me of the simplicity of the powers that you use in Overwatch. I mean, your superpowers that you have above the weapons that you use are fairly easy to access. And this game allows for that same kind of accessibility. And I think that's what makes it, and that's what they're going for. That same kind of accessibility you have in Overwatch, or that you have in any of those types of games, but it's a single player game.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you. I'm like, oh, so is it multiplayer or single player? So it's single player.
The only kind of multiplayer that you have there's some daily challenges, and you can compete against other people with those kinds of challenges, but by and large, it's
daily challenge, huh?
Yeah, they're everywhere. You can't get away from those.
I love daily challenges.
I know that's your thing, but they're not as cool as your Spelunky daily challenges. I mean, they exist, but they're not on the Spelunky level. It's good, dumb fun. I mean, this is one of those games that if I hadn't had some gift certificates, I wouldn't have picked it up. But I found it fairly reasonably priced. I picked it up, and I've enjoyed it. I've unlocked, I think, gosh, I was counting the other day. I want to say there are more than 10 different characters. I have 4 right now, or 5. I have 5 right now, so maybe half.
And are they Saints Row characters, or no? Are they just Agents of Mayhem characters?
Yeah, they're just Agents of Mayhem. They're just Mayhem agents. There is one of the main guys from Saints Row, and I barely played Saints Row, but
Johnny
I remember.
Gat?
Yes, I think Johnny Gat is in the game.
It's probably him.
And that's about it. The rest of them are all, Saints Row characters that Agents of Mayhem characters that you can skin. You can put different outfits on. You can change the way their weapons look, but really the weapons stay the same, other than the look of them may change. So it's fun. I've enjoyed it.
Cool.
If this came out the same day as Destiny, I'd be like, come on, you know what to buy. But it's a good summer game.
But you had a couple weeks, and it just came out pretty recently, right?
Last week. Yeah.
So you got a couple weeks to kill before Destiny comes, and
yeah, exactly. And this fell off my radar.
Oh.
Yeah. My problem with this game is
it's Fortnite. It's Fortnite for those who are just listening to the audio version of this. Heartbreak Ridge.
Yeah, I keep forgetting. I should probably say the things that I'm showing you. Yeah, Fortnite. JJ and I played some Fortnite, and I still like the idea of the game. I like the building part of the game. I think it's a lot of fun, but it's not challenging. I've barely been challenged in the game. You do the same thing every single time. There's that, and that's what's frustrating about it. There are all these different elements, these different parts to the game, and they're not gelling and coming together the way I'd really like them to. And so, playing with friends, JJ and I had fun playing it, but it both kind of fell. I mean, I haven't seen him playing it, and it's kind of fallen off for me too, just because we just don't have the, just doing the same thing over and over again gets kind of repetitive, gets kind of boring.
So I know that Fortnite is also going to be free to play, and they're doing like a paid early version of it now. So maybe it's the point where this is actually like an early access game that they don't have fully fleshed out yet, which is weird because it's been in development for years.
Mm-hmm.
But from what I've heard, they've actually
exactly that.
They've scrapped it a few times.
And I know from interviews I've read and from some other podcasts I've listened to that they're going to change the way that the interface looks. They're going to change. They have so many different systems within the game as well that it gets really convoluted. Trying to keep track of all the different things that you are supposed to do. Some of them I don't even keep up with. For instance, you have different survivors that come on board that you are supposed to slot into different places. Like you may have a medical level of 5 or 6 survivors, and you slowly unlock how many you can have at a time. Or you may have the survivors that work on mechanics or weapons. And so you slot them into these different places, but I don't know why. I mean, I don't know what it's doing for me. I put them in there. I think it's helping my own fort, my own area, which you have this one specific area that you're also building up that's different from all the other fights that you're doing with other people. Every time that you go in, every time you go in to a mission, you're going in with 3 other random people, unless you have a friend that you're playing with. And that can be hit and miss as well.
Yeah, I can imagine.
You and the other 3 people will bounce around this city, this town, and you're breaking stuff apart, and you're getting different pieces that you need in order to build ammo or weapons or whatever it may be. But at some point, the 4 of you are supposed to come together to build a fort around whatever the base may be. It may be a minivan. It may be something that you're supposed to protect. And so you're building this fort around it, and then you set off the timer that allows the 4 of you to protect this thing. Sometimes the other people aren't into setting off the timer. They're doing their own thing. So trying to pull everyone together can be a hassle unless, you get 3 other people that actually want to finish the mission and move on with their lives. Yeah, I know. If you're playing with friends, I think it'd be a lot of fun. And playing with JJ, we had fun. But playing with random people sometimes got monotonous.
Did you play with 2 randoms with JJ?
What he and I would do, and which was helpful, is when you are protecting. So every once in a while, one of the missions is you protect your own base. And when you're protecting your own base, things can get kind of dicey when you're by yourself. So it's really nice to have somebody else drop in to help you protect the base for that particular level. And so he helped me at least once, maybe twice, and I think I may have helped him once. But planning for that and trying to figure out, okay, are we both at a point where we need help? You almost need to call the person and say, hey, tonight's night, I need some help. So, otherwise it's just a random mission. And there were times where he and I would end up in random missions with 2 other people. And we knew what we wanted to do. And luckily we could do enough together that we could get through the mission. And I think 2 of the 3 times that we did it, we had people that were helpful. One time we just had one person I never even saw. So
are the maps that big that you may not see them? Yeah,
it's like a whole city. I mean, it's a big map. So
I just figured it was I just figured it was like a small little area that you were defending at a
No,
time.
no, it's like imagine a city with blocks and countryside out to the the sides. I mean, not massive, but it would take a while to get from one end to the other.
Huh. Okay.
So yeah, bigger than you expect. So with basements, I mean, you can almost like Minecraft, you can dig your way into a basement of a house and find places that are kind of hidden, and that's really cool. I mean, that's a lot of fun, but that only goes so far. So, Fortnite.
Yeah. There was another game that I was playing. I'm trying to remember what it was.
Now,
I'm scrolling through Twitter right now, so I'm
yeah,
sorry
tell me your games, man.
for this. Yeah, I don't
Do you,
remember.
do you want me to tell you any of the other ones I've been playing?
Yes, tell me while I'm trying to figure out the other game that I
All
played.
right. Well, I've played a few other things. I played well, since we talked last. I've been playing
2 years or
Splatoon
so
2.
ago.
Yeah, Splatoon 2. Splatoon is Splatoony, just like it's always been. And it's fun. Splatoon is a great game, and for a multiplayer game, for a quick multiplayer game, it's great fun. Um, but I'm not that good at it, and I think it's because the strategy is different. Strategy is not, you don't kill people, you don't Splatoon them. Your strategy is coverage. You want to cover as much space as you possibly can with the paint. And I forget that sometimes, but
Yeah.
so it's a different kind of game. And if you don't get the right teammates for that kind of game, then it can be really frustrating. So that's a fun one to play with friends, probably more than by yourself.
I got it.
I'm
figured
ready.
it out.
Hit me.
It's called
Okay.
Kingsway.
All right.
Yeah,
I don't know what that
one,
is.
that's Kingsway
Oh,
from
okay.
I think it's Adult Swim or Devolver. Adult Swim, because Sean Baptiste has something to do with it. He's like publishing or the PR for it or something. So Kingsway, basically, it's a PC game where they change your desktop to be like this Windows 95 interface.
Okay. Yeah. Tell me about this.
And you double click on an icon and it brings up a world map, and you can travel from one place to another, and it's all time. So there's a time element to the game where you have to keep pushing to the right of the map, and if you don't, there's some like shadow that's falling over the world, and it's all like this really old style graphics, like I said, Windows 95 era. And I'm not sure what happens when you fall into that shadow area, because I haven't actually done it yet. But it's like an old school adventure game where you've got a class. You pick a class, either adventurer or warrior, thief, mage, whatever, like typical RPG stuff. And then you travel to different locations and fight monsters. But when a monster comes up, it's another pop-up on your screen, and it'll move slowly across the screen. And then you have to manually like track with your mouse and click the attack button, and then the attack button sets off a timer, and then it deals damage after. And your timer can go quick, it can go slow, depending on your power ups that you can get. You can get armor, weapons, different amulets and stuff. And I for that one, I found myself playing it for way longer than I thought I would. It was interesting, and every once in a while, like you'll come across a stronger enemy that he'll be moving across the screen, and all of a sudden you'll see an arrow pop up in another window that says avoid is the button, and that's moving quicker across the top. So you got to move your mouse up to this and hit that button, and when you do that, it actually cancels out your fight action, that's your attack action that's playing out. So you got to click that one again. So there's a lot of like weird like manipulation of windows effectively in this game. That's really just kind of an old school style RPG. I haven't died yet, so I don't know what happens when you die. I've gotten up to level 10, I think my character is. But you'll find different locations, and sometimes you'll find a house, and you explore the house just a little bit through either just almost like a web page, click a link interface to find out what's in each room, or you'll find a dungeon where you actually have to walk through the dungeon, and there's different there's treasure chests in there that you can open up. Sometimes they're mimics, sometimes it's just treasure. And it's
So
a fun little game.
when you're moving around, this is the one thing I haven't understood. I've heard somebody else talk about this. So your screen on your computer looks like Windows 95. And
Yep.
so when you see a monster move across, is it moving across your Windows 95 screen?
Yeah, it's so you've got your map interface in one window, and then your little guy travels along, and it says, all right, here's where you're going, here's how long in travel time it's going to take you to get there. And like maybe halfway through, all of a sudden you have two cross swords that appear, and then quickly another window pops up, kind of like an ad, like an old school ad has popped up. It's not the same style. I think it would have been hilarious if they actually tried to mimic some of like the real bad, pop-up ads. But it pops up on your screen, and then you have to deal with it after it pops up. And then you'll loot it. You'll loot it when it's done, and you close the window. And then you continue to move on with your adventure.
This is PC, right? This is on Steam.
Yeah, it's on Steam. I can't imagine that it's very expensive, but it's really clever in terms of how the game goes. I'm wondering if it stays the same in terms of the loop, the action loop that I'm taking. You go to like cities, and then you'll get quests from the guild, whatever the guild is, and they'll tell you, all right, you need to collect 4 skulls in perfect condition and bring them to us, and then you get an item from them as well as a whole bunch of experience points. You get stat boosts, different abilities. You can increase your strength, dexterity, stuff like that. So it's pretty fun. It's a fun little game. I should look up how much it actually costs, because it's just one of those things. It's $10 right now. So
that sounds fun. That sounds like it's worth more than $10 of fun.
I think it's probably worth more than $10 if you get it. And if you can find it on like a Steam sale or something like that, I'd say it's definitely worth checking out.
It sounds unique enough that it would keep your interest and attention, trying to play something. I guess, and I don't know if it's because I grew up with these kinds of games, but that 16-bit look, the pixelated look, I don't. Sometimes I feel like a curmudgeon, and I think, wait a second, how am I a curmudgeon? I grew up playing these games. Why? Maybe it's just I'm tired of playing these games, and I want to try something that has a little more fidelity in the look of it. And I know it's the gameplay, but there's sometimes where I'm like, I can't play this anymore.
I would say that this isn't even like Genesis era. This is more like Ultima, early Ultima.
Okay.
I can't pick a number. It would probably be 6 or 7 Ultima. In terms of that style of graphics. I mean, you could go and check it out yourself, but it's clever. It's well made.
Okay. Well, yeah, it sounds fun. I mean, it sounds like something I would be interested in trying out. The only other thing that I played, I played other things. Like I played Oxenfree. There was a sale between the last time we did the show and now on PlayStation. That was insane. And there were a ton of games that were such good prices. And Oxenfree was a game I always wanted to try, and I think I got it for like $3 or $4.
Yep.
And it was really interesting. I really enjoyed that game. It's not a ton to it. It's more story driven. It's a lot of clicking as you move along. There are some puzzles, but they're minor, but the story was interesting. And so I enjoyed that. And then the other thing I jumped back into, and I saw some of our friends doing the same thing last week, was No Man's Sky. I got back into that last week.
Is it a better game now?
I don't know if I've given it enough of a shake to figure out if it's better or not. I think that they are doing things that make it a better game that I haven't seen yet. So there's a story mode, and I'm at a point where I need to do some things to get off the planet I'm on. I don't have any warp drive, so I can't really get far away from where I am. So once I build that back up and get away, then I might be able to follow the story. But as soon as I downloaded the new version, and I mean, the story was right there. They were trying to get me into the story right away. But you know, there are other really interesting things that are out there. Like there are large ships that have crash landed on planets that you can find, and you can kind of raid those ships and take the things off them. There are new looking planets that the game looks better. So I think all the things that would make it interesting to get back in. In fact, I think it last week. It was the number one or number two game on Steam again.
Oh, really?
So yeah, it shot back up.
Was it on sale? I think it might have also been on sale.
Okay. Okay. Which was smart. I mean, should be. I mean, if they want to get people back in, that's the way to do it. I just never sold my copy because I knew I would want to try it again. And I knew they would continue to add things. I don't think they're done. I think they're going to continue to add things to the game. I mean, what do they have to lose? They've made their money already. So,
right.
You know,
they made their money and they could just go away.
But I don't think they don't seem like that kind of studio. And
they want to repair. They want to repair the reputation. I'm sure that because exactly. They took a pretty big hit.
Yeah, they're saving face a little bit, but they're adding things. This is where you wanted the game to be a year ago, basically. And probably where they wanted.
That kind of annoys me just in general. Like that, it seems like we're at that point now where that like even games that are supposed to be like these solid releases when they come out of the gate are not. And it's happening more and more frequently that we are in an early access world where it's not labeled as such anymore.
You mean like this?
Yeah. Fortnite. All that. I mean, Mass Effect, the latest Mass Effect. I've not played it, but from what I understand, they were still adding stuff to that up until like last week when they said, "Oh, remember that last patch? Yeah, that was the last one, and we're not doing anything else with the game."
Which is sad. I mean, it's like they've left their child out on the steps of a house and said, "I hope somebody else picks it up because we're done with it." It's frustrating. I played maybe 5 hours of that game, and it's the same thing over and over again. The story isn't there, and it's disappointing. But it's really disappointing that they just abandon it like that. Because if you're willing to abandon something that quickly, it tells me you weren't that invested in it to begin with.
Yeah, and now they're not going to have Mass Effect for forever. Like,
sure,
we're not going to get another Mass Effect.
Yeah, they taint the brand when, you know, there was controversy around the ending of 3, but people still enjoyed the game. I still enjoyed the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, then you end up with something like this, and that's the last thing people will remember. So I don't know.
Now all their eggs are into that. What is that? What is that new game that they're working on? That Destiny clone. What is that one?
Are they working on
Anthem?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and great. So, you know, but to abandon a franchise that people love and they love the storyline, they love the way they put the story together. Yeah, that's disappointing and discouraging to me. So. I still have it. I haven't traded it in or gotten rid of it. I keep thinking I might go back to it, but every time I do, I think there's nothing.
There's another game to play. You play another game.
Exactly.
Like I could trade in Persona 5, but I'm not going to because I actually still really like that game, and I feel like eventually, in maybe like 10 years, I'll finish it.
Yeah. Yeah. I have it. I haven't traded it in. I haven't even started it because I know that there's other things happening that will keep me from getting there. So I'm kind of holding off.
I think the last save put me at 30 hours in Persona 5, and I'm just about halfway through.
Okay.
So
you put your time in
to get to that point. And the greatest thing about this is that I know I don't know spoilers of the game, which is great because they really haven't been out there for Persona 5. But I know people who have played it and they know where I am in relation to the game, and they're like, "Oh, you're there." It's like, oh, indicating that yeah, something cool is about to happen. Something's going to, change everything in the game, or some, I don't know, something. Um, but
So it's like 100-hour game though, isn't it?
yeah, something like that. It's supposed to be, or you can put that much time into it. It's it's a long game with a lot of dungeons. And one thing that I actually really like about this one, as I probably said in a previous show months ago, is that the main dungeons that you go into don't all look the same anymore. Like
Yeah.
The last Persona, there is one section in this game called Mementos that does all look the same. So I won't rehash this because I'm pretty sure I talked about this at one point. But the main dungeons in the game are all unique, and they all have different. Some of them even have different mechanics that you got to do. They're minor mechanics of things like opening a bank vault, for example. You have to get 2 key cards or something like that. But it's good. It's a good game, and I'm just not willing to trade that one in.
Well, yeah, and I still have it, but I haven't even. I'm just going to hold on to it, and I'll play it at some point. I remembered one other thing before. I know that we're getting close to when we're going to end, but there's one other game that I think has flown under the radar. I haven't heard anyone talking about it, but I've had a lot of fun with it with my family and with our friends. And it's on PlayStation 4, and it's called That's You. Have you heard about this game?
You told me to get That's You because
Yeah.
I think it was free, or it is free.
Yes. It's free, and it's free if you have a PS
Plus
Gold. Yeah, PS Gold, PS Plus. Blah blah blah. If you have PS Plus, it's free. It was at least, and I think it still is. It is a party type game, and you download an app to your phone, whether you have a Google phone or a Android or I'm sorry, an Android or a iOS phone, Apple phone, and the phone connects incredibly easily and seamlessly with the game itself, surprisingly.
over Wi-Fi, I presume.
Yeah, and so you connect to the game with your phone, and all the questions are about each other. So a question might be like, who would be most likely to eat an entire pizza by themselves?
Oh, that's Todd. That's Todd.
Yeah,
obviously.
exactly. And so you can pick who of the 4 people that are sitting there, but then they have these tokens. You each have like 4 or 5 tokens, and you can add a token to it. So you're like, I know it's Todd, and I'm 100% sure. So much so, I'm going to put a token down on this too, which will help your score.
So how does the game know that it's actually Todd that would eat the pizza?
The game doesn't know. You and the other 3 people are deciding.
So it's just who you vote silently, and then it reveals who you voted for. Okay.
Yeah. And so then there are the other things you do, like you'll take a picture of yourself, and then you're supposed to draw on those pictures, which is really funny. And then you decide, and then the 4 people decide which picture they like the most, but you don't know who drew which picture. and part of it's strategy. I mean, part of it is, okay, I like that picture a lot, but if the picture is about, and this question is about Todd, which picture would Todd pick? Because if you can get at least one other person to pick with you, then there's at least 2 of you, regardless of what the other 2 people are going to do.
Yep.
So you know you're headed in the right direction. I've played with my family at least 4 times now, and we've had a lot of fun. My daughter's played with her friends, her high school friends, and they've had a lot of fun playing it. My son played with his high school friends, and they had fun playing it. So it's a really interesting, cool way to do a game, a fun party multiplayer game with friends.
Yeah, you're the only person who I've ever heard mention it.
I know, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's maybe other people don't have friends. Do you think that's it?
I don't have.
Do you think people need friends?
I don't have friends. I got family. The family will work, but I don't know.
The kids need to be a little older, not because the questions, I mean, the only way that they would be kind of off color is if you allow them to be off color. But with the kids, unless they have their own phone or iPad or or Amazon tablet or something, some way to connect to the game, they wouldn't be able to play it.
Oh, we got old phones that we could probably use the Wi-Fi of.
Then you'd be fine, and they would probably have fun. The girls would certainly have fun,
I'm sure.
And if your son was not wanting to do it himself, playing with somebody would be fun for him. So anyway, I think even at that age, they would get it and enjoy it. But it is surprisingly interesting, and especially I want to get some friends over, because the times that my wife and I have done it, we've either done it with our kids or our kids and their friends. But playing with our friends would be a lot of fun too, because it's easy for anyone to pick up. If you know how to use your phone, you can play this game.
It's all couch co-op or couch multiplayer.
Yeah, just a couch game. Everything's on the screen that you need, and if it's not on the screen, it's on your phone. But it's seamless. I mean, it goes back and forth a lot more quickly than you would expect.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I think pick it up, try it out. It's free.
I think I did. I think I added it to my PlayStation account, but I probably didn't actually download it.
Yeah.
And you know what? The kids next week, they're starting school again.
Yeah.
So bedtime will be like 7 or maybe 6:30.
Oh yeah, put them before the sun goes down. That's the way the sun
goes down. So then I'll get more time to play games. And, and
put the kids to bed
and go looking for breakfast. Wait,
tell them.
Put the women and children to
they
bed.
Had for lunch at school was their last meal. Now it's bedtime.
No dessert, no dinner.
Yeah. No, you had your meal. It was at school.
Your singular meal.
The square pizza and the corn. That was the meal that we always had in lunch.
I can't wait to square pizza and corn.
This was the lunch that I remember like it was yesterday, sitting down in our cafeteria when I was in elementary and middle school. It was a square piece of pizza, a little pocket of corn, and a little pocket of chocolate pudding.
The corn though.
Yeah, I know. Just sitting there in the little tray. Yeah, I remember it like it was yesterday. I was like, oh.
Did anybody actually eat the corn? Did you eat the corn?
You're hungry enough. Sometimes you do. You got to do what you got to do.
Corn is nothing. Corn just goes right through.
Hey, this was the late 70s and early 80s. We thought we were eating healthy, and we were eating at McDonald's like every other day. So, I mean, there was no nutrition information on the side of our food.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Just said, here's some food.
Yeah. Here's a Big Mac. Have 10. Buy a bag of Big Macs and eat them until you're full. Yeah. Welcome to the 80s.
Yeah.
I know. I just made you feel old, didn't I?
Well, so I was on vacation last week. I told you this over Twitter. And I was on a cruise ship, so my eating habits for the past week were gluttonous. It's probably the best word to use. And it really kind of sucks because I've been like really working on me all summer to try to get me into even better running shape than I was at the beginning of the summer. And to the most degree, it's paid off. But then I come home and I'm like, oh sure, I'll have 2 desserts, and then I get them and then I eat them, and it's like, oh, I feel disgusting now because I'm actually so used to not eating large portions anymore that I get this like bloated feeling in my stomach, and it's just like
But vacations like that. I mean, that happens, and so you got to get back to the point. You get yourself back into your fighting weight, and then you fight or run. Yeah. Probably better for you than fighting. Do the running.
Fighting's fun though. Have you ever fought anybody?
Well, if you're wearing a big sumo outfit, and you guys are bouncing against each other, those ones that fill up with air, then I think it might be fun. So sparring. Don't just go out and start swinging your fists.
Actually, sparring with pads and everything. That's if you've ever done that, or if you ever get a chance to do it, I'd recommend at least trying it once, because
I would like to do that.
Because you will find out that that is a very strenuous activity. it's surprisingly difficult to go. You know, the boxers, like, I don't know how they last 10 rounds, like the stamina that they actually put in. After 2 minutes, you are just exhausted. If you're, and it's not even like necessarily that you're throwing punches. It's the anticipation, and your whole body is just completely tense the entire time. Um, it's a good time though. I recommend it. getting into it with somebody.
I would like to. I mean, that's my next, is to find something different than running all the time, because this old man, his knees are not going to be what they should be in another 3 to 5 years. So
you're fine. I run with people that are in their 70s.
Do you push them? Because you might need to push me in another couple of years.
No, they're slow, but they go out there and they still do it, and it seems like they're not in pain. So
okay, good. Well, the only time I feel it is when I'm done and I start to walk upstairs. But it's just like the first stair, and then everything's fine.
Yeah, everything's fine after. It's just a little tightness.
Yeah. So I crawl up the stairs, army crawl. It's as sad looking as you're thinking in your head. So that's me.
All right, it is 10 o'clock my time, 9 o'clock your time, and you said you had an hour. So thanks for joining me once again on Short Attention Gamer 130. Todd, maybe we have to make sure we do this less or more than just, summer's over now, so I think it'll be more on my mind. But like, during when the kids are up, they're up late. That's why I don't play games. It's because they're up and I'm doing stuff with them. So.
Well, we're getting into the gaming season too. I mean, next time we talk, we can talk about the Xbox Project Scorpio version. You can make. Oh,
you're going to have one of those? Yeah, that's right.
Of course, I am.
Well, how many exclusives are you going to have?
0. I think there's 0 exclusive. No, there's one that I won't buy, and that is
Forza 7.
Yeah, that's the one. I won't buy it, but I still want one, and I'll still. Well, there's some games. So the next time we talk, we'll also talk TVs, because I just got a new 4K television with HDR. Ooh. And so that's one of the other reasons why I wanted to do it. It makes a difference, the HDR especially.
Yeah, maybe eventually. That's definitely one reason that I can see to get either a PS Pro or a new Xbox, is to push that 4K.
Mm-hmm. Well, and so we'll talk next time, because I have some opinions about which kinds to buy. I think they might be controversial.
Oh boy,
opinions. But we can talk about it, and I can share with you why I did what I did.
All right, that sounds good.
There you go. And teaser. I just teased the next show.
That is a good teaser. And if we can remember what you teased when we do the next show, that would be.
I'm going to write it down on my hand, and I'm not going to wash my hand until we do another show. Just for you.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this audio and I'm going to try to do some leveling a bit. I'm not going to do any real post-production. I'm just going to take it, throw it up on an RSS feed on a website. It's so somebody took shortattentiongamer.com, so we couldn't take that. So I came up with leftcartridge.com. It's like a throwback name to the old Atari 400 and 800s, which is where I started gaming pretty much.
Me too.
Where you'd have a cartridge that actually said left cartridge on it, because the 800s had 2 slots for cartridges. One could be the left and one could be the right. I never actually had any right cartridges, but anyway. Wow. So left cartridge wasn't taken. I said, hey, this sounds cool. It's a nice name, and it's old, like us. So me. You more than me, but I'll be 40 this year.
Well, okay, whatever. We both know that. I'm closer to retirement. I get it.
I can't wait.
Because then I come and spend a whole week with you every summer.
Actually, that sounds fun. We could play some games, board games, video games. We can go shopping.
We could do a show right from there, sitting next to each other.
That would be so weird. Considering I've never met you in person.
Oh, it'd be fun. I'm clean. I take showers. I brush my teeth. I'm not loud. So, and I don't burp out loud. I'm subtle. I I wouldn't embarrass you in front of your wife or your kids.
You would. That's okay though.
I would try not to embarrass you in front of your wife and your kids.
All right, we did it. We survived another one. We're gonna go.
There it is.
The
Look
Eclipse.
at the sun.
You know, I can kind of see you.
I'm here. I'm on the
there.
other side of the planet.
We survived the eclipse. Nobody rioted. Nobody looted.
It was awesome. It was a beautiful day. We all hugged.
So, thanks everybody for listening, and we'll be back hopefully in about a month.
September.